Heyo, we are going to make this little hydraulic clamp assembly. So when you do this, you're going to need to click here, or there's also a link in the assignment. You can click here and it'll open up an on-shape document that has this stuff in it, but you need to click make a copy so that you can work with it. All right, in the copy document, select add element and choose create assembly. So in our train document, we already have the assembly down there. This one doesn't, so we're going to click add assembly. Now we're going to rename the assembly hydraulic clamp assembly. So right click, rename. So next we are going to choose insert, and then we're going to select the entire part studio that has the hydraulic components in it. And then by just, instead of clicking out here, remember, we're just going to click on the green check so it'll put it on the origin there. So we're going to click insert, select the whole part studio, not just one part from the drop down, and then just click the check. And you don't want to grab and move it yet because it's not fixed in place. So the next step is to right click on cylinder 1 and then fix that part. So right click on cylinder, select fix. And now if you try to move that, it doesn't move. It gives you this little I'm not moving symbol. But these other things can move now. Well, they could always move. But just this part can't move. Okay. We fixed our cylinder. So now we need to create a second instance of this O-ring. So we need another O-ring. So there's a couple ways to do it. You can select it and then right click, copy and paste with your mouse. Right click, copy O-ring 1, then right click somewhere in space and click paste O-ring 1. Or you can also use Control C, Control V, and the same thing works. Okay, now they want us to do a fastened mate between the top of this part here and the plunger. So I'm going to click the Fasten Mate command, get this click to select that point, and then I want to get the point at the top of that cylinder. That looks good, so I will accept it. All right, what's next? Now we're going to mate the O-rings into the little filleted groove there. We're going to use a fastened mate. The mate connection point that's in the center here and then in the center of this groove. And it should light up this groove down here. So will select Fastened Mate. Then I'll take the middle point there. See right there, it has that, like the two edges of the groove lit up. So that's the point that I want. And I'm just gonna get a little, oh, look, it's a little, not the right. See how it's overlapping? I didn't get the right mate connector in there. So I don't want that. I want that one's right in the middle. Come down. There it is. So now what I can do is I can say, all right, I'm going to accept that mate, and then I'm going to leave the tool open to do the other mate. So I'm going to go find the other O-ring. Boom. So now I've got both of those O-rings fastened on there with a fastened mate. Okay, so now we need to mate the bottom of the plunger to the bottom of this cylinder in here. And they made a section view. I couldn't figure out how to make it a section view, but because you can't select a plane in here. But if you change it to translucent, you can like see through them, right? I want to get this bottom. I want to get that part right there, right? So I'm going to do, what kind of mate are we doing here? A cylindrical mate. So this will be able to move up and down, and it'll be able to spin around. So I'm going to select a cylindrical mate. You can see that that one is, oh, is it a little bit below? So we'll mate that, the bottom of that to the bottom of this. Push play. Oh, I don't want it to go down that way. But oh well. That looks like it's at least set up sort of right. Then we need to, I think the next slide will show us the offsets to put. Okay, so -40 and 0 for our offset limit, or our limit. So over here we want to click limits, and then we're going to put -40 and 0. And then I'll push play to see how that looks. That went too far down. And I think it does that sometimes the first time you play the animation. But if you play it again, there you go. Down to the bottom, and then it stops up at the top. Okay, so we're gonna accept that. So this can slide up and down, and it can spin around. And that's pretty much it for this little, have you do a, how do they do it? Mass property, mass or volume or something. I generally will do that. I'll tell you, that's why I tell you to make what called material to set for the part